straight into it. Vinicius Jr. has extended his contract at Real Madrid to 2032. The 6-year extension has put paid to the slim chance that Arsenal were eventually going to sign him. Of course, people thought that North London was going to be his next destination after the 18 months protracted contract talks that eventually ended in Real Madrid's favor. Vinicius Jr. has done extremely well, winning 2 Champions League titles, scoring in both finals, as well as other titles for Real Madrid. The world star, of course, he's a world-class player, finished second to Rodri all those years ago in the Ballon d'Or listing. And the Brazilian has decided to extend his contract at Real Madrid. Arsenal fans are livid and have attributed his failure to join Arsenal instead of extending his contract at Real Madrid to so many transfer rumors and conflicting news and updates. People have decided to vilify Fabrizio Romano concerning not only the Vinicius deal or the Vinicius contract extension, but the Yan Diomande deal to Real Madrid. He stood his ground and eventually he prevailed on both occasions. He was insistent that Vinicius Jr. was going to extend his contract at Real, and he also said that Yan Diomande, no matter what, despite the fact that RB Leipzig's director, one of the directors, came out to deny any agreement with Real Madrid, eventually Yan Diomande was announced as a Real Madrid player yesterday. So he is the most expensive African footballer in history and Real Madrid's most expensive signing. So the Ivory Coast international has made history. Hopefully his playing career there will be a lot more than these historic feats. 7-year contract. He will be tied to Real Madrid until 2033, and he will only be 26 when that contract expires. I'm sure that due to his stellar performances, which we expect, which we are predicting, before 2033 his contract will be renewed, hopefully. And who knows, Florentino Perez might still be there even though age is not on his side. So Jose Mourinho has welcomed the addition of Yan Diomande, but Rodri is seemingly Barcelona bound after Real Madrid failed to accelerate interest in the Golden Ball winner and former Ballon d'Or winner, the man who has completed football. All right, so Rodri is Barcelona bound. That is a huge reinforcement for Hansi Flick and Barcelona. He will go straight into the starting lineup. It's a no-brainer. Nobody's going to be selected ahead of Rodri in that Barcelona midfield. He's head and shoulders above everyone else in that midfield, and that is with all due respect, even though it's a factual submission. All right, so Vinicius has his say at the end of the day. 18 months, the deal was dragged, the extension, the talks were dragging on. Vinicius is finally going to extend, or has extended this contract at Real Madrid until 2032. He will be looking to win at least the Ballon d'Or. In fact, between Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe, they have to win at least one Ballon d'Or awards. Neymar didn't win it, and so many great players: Thierry Henry, Raul Gonzalez Blanco, Francesco Totti, Alejandro Del Piero, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, Frank Lampard, Samuel Eto'o, Didier Drogba. None of these guys won the Ballon d'Or. But hopefully either Vinicius or Mbappe or both might win the Ballon d'Or before they call time on their respective professional careers. That is for Real. For Arsenal, some good news. Bruno Guimaraes, his £75 million deal with Arsenal from Newcastle. The transfer might be completed today. Hopefully he has completed his medical. There might be an official announcement from Arsenal today. The acquisition of Bruno Guimaraes, who is definitely going straight into the Arsenal starting 11. people are anticipating a midfield that will be consisting of Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, who is captain of Arsenal, and Bruno Guimaraes. That will definitely be exciting as well as fearsome. So for Arsenal, despite losing out, if they were ever in the race, losing out on Vinicius Jr., who decided to extend at Real, they have acquired the playing rights of Bruno Guimaraes. So that's for Arsenal. The WAFCON continued 2 days ago when the Super Falcons of Nigeria did Nigerians proud by defeating the Cleopatras of Egypt by 6-2. So many penalties in that encounter, but the likes of Asisat Oshoala, who is affectionately called Agbabola, Gift Monday, Deborah Abiodun, Rinsola Babajide, Rashidat Ajibade, and others did Nigeria proud, even though people are questioning why Nigeria conceded 2 goals. The Cleopatras were not exactly going to sleep all through 90 minutes. They had to pose one form of resistance or another. So their 2 goals probably flattered their performance, but that did not stop them from leaving the tournament with 0 points. The news that is making the rounds, in fact, one that has confused a lot of people who still don't know how these things work, is that the Copper Queens of Zambia didn't qualify for the quarterfinals of WAFCON. They started scoring the joint most goals and conceding the least goals in that group that had Malawi, the Scotches, the Cleopatras of Egypt, the Copper Queens of Zambia, and the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Zambia, we remember, defeated the Cleopatras in the first game by 6-0, lost to Nigeria in the second game, and defeated Malawi, Tenwa, and Tabita by 2-1. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to see them to the quarterfinals. Very unlucky for the Copper Queens. Well, Malawi and Nigeria qualified from that group and are in the quarterfinals of WAFCON. Nigeria, as well as Cameroon, as well as Ivory Coast, as well as Algeria, are also in the quarterfinals of the Women's African Nations Cup holding in Morocco. Of course, the hosts Morocco are also in the quarterfinals of that edition as well. So WAFCON continues with the quarterfinals. Let us give you the list of the quarterfinalists as well as the quarterfinal pairings. All right, so we'll give you that in just a bit. For the quarterfinals, Ivory Coast, Algeria, Morocco, South Africa, Cameroon, Nigeria, Malawi, and Ghana qualified for the quarterfinals of WAFCON. And the pairings, Ivory Coast and Algeria, will be playing on Saturday in Rabat. Saturday is tomorrow. Morocco and South Africa, same tomorrow in Casablanca. All right, Cameroon and Nigeria on Sunday in Rabat, as well as Malawi, Ghana on Sunday in Rabat or Casablanca. That hasn't been settled yet, but it will either be Rabat or Casablanca. So we are one step away from qualifying for the 2027 Women's World Cup. If the Super Falcons can negotiate their way past Cameroon, they will definitely qualify for the World Cup in 2027. We just need to reach the semi-finals. So if we aim to win our 11th, we must get past all these very difficult hurdles to hoist the 11th. We have a record extending, that must always be added, 11th WAFCON victory, because Perpetua Nkwocha and the likes have won 5 in their storied careers. So good stuff for the Super Falcons and the others who qualified for the quarterfinals. We have definitely given you updates on that. The highest goal scorer in the WAFCON so far is out of the tournament. Barbara Banda, an esteemed Copper Queen, is no longer in the WAFCON tournament, unfortunately, even though they defeated Malawi 2-1. They couldn't qualify via the rules of CAF head-to-head. The goal scored. So the first two definitely edged them out, unfortunately, despite what they did to try to get to the quarterfinals. 1-2, lost one narrowly to the 10-man or 10-woman Super Falcons. All right. In tennis, Elina Svitolina has risen from adversity to prosper against Alejandra Potapova, a breadstick in both sets for Svitolina. The Ukrainian was deadly against Potapova and left nothing to chance by defeating her 6-1, 6-1 to reach the round of 16 of the National Bank Open presented by Rogers. Arina Sabalenka, world number 1, defeated Zhang by in straights as well, 6-3, 6-4. All right, so that's for today. The early hours of today, of course. Yesterday, Amanda Anisimova defeated Batuzkova in 3 sets and will be facing Elina Svitolina in the round of 16. Marta Kostyuk defeated Madison Keys. In fact, it was comfortable, 6-3, 6-1, and she will be playing 6-time Grand Slam champion Iga Swiatek in the round of 16. Jessica Pegula defeated Rakhmonova 6-4, 6-love. Dan Schneider, who is flying high, has been doing quite well since the French Open, defeated Anna Kalinskaya 6-3, 6-3. All right, so Iga Swiatek, who will be facing Marta Kostyuk in the round of 16, defeated Victoria Golubic 6-2, 6-1. And Katerina Alexandrova defeated Gibson 5-7, 6-1, 6-3. Alexander Erler, who is doing very well, of course, but didn't do well yesterday when she paired Venus Williams, the women's doubles. They were beaten by Samsonova and Kato 6-4, 6-3. But in terms of singles, she's doing quite well. Hopefully, we'll see more from her. For the women's singles today, there will be some good matches in the round of 32. Eva Jovic will be playing Korerova. Lee will be playing Elina Rybakina. And Maya Joint, who defeated Serena Williams at Wimbledon, will be playing Samsonova in the round of 32. Elise Mertens will be playing against 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka, who reached the semi-final the last time out and was defeated by fast-rising Filipino Alexander Ayala. Round of 32 match, Taylor Townsend will be playing against Belinda Bencic. So those are the round of 32 games for the women's singles today. For the men, Arthur Ringotet benefited from the Frances Tiafoe withdrawal after leading 6-2, 2-0. Frances Tiafoe had to withdraw from that match through injury. So, and Arthur Ringotet is in the round of 16. Moves swiftly to the round of 16. Brandon Nakashima defeated Doge in 3 sets after losing the first. He came back roaring 6-2, 7-5 in the second and third sets. Rafael Jodar defeated Lorenzo Musetti for the second time in less than a week, 6-4, 6-3. All right, so for that, in the round of 32 continues today with Talon Grigspor, who took the scalp or accounted for the scalp of French Open champion and world number 2 Alexander Zverev. He will be playing Matteo Anaudi in the round of 32. Merida Aguilar will be playing against Alex Mikkelsen. And Botic Van Zandt, who was 0-4 against Daniil Medvedev until they met 2 days ago, he defeated him in straights, will be playing Hubert Hurkacz in the round of 32. Zizou Bergs will be playing Ben Shelton in the round of 32. The Ben Shelton himself has decided against playing mixed doubles at the US Open. That has led to Taylor Townsend playing with Alexander Zverev in mixed doubles at the US Open. Admane will be playing Jakob Mensik in another round of 32 game for the men's singles tournament. Going straight to FIFA matters, Gianni Infantino has received the support of the FIFA Secretary General and the rest of the FIFA hierarchy after crisis talks were successful. Of course, there was a breakthrough in crisis talks held in Rabat, Morocco a few days ago, and the FIFA hierarchy have given the nod for Infantino to continue a fourth term as FIFA president. Well, that hasn't gone down well with UEFA and others. Of course, the English FA purportedly sent a withdrawal letter withdrawing the support for Infantino, who is going for a fourth term as FIFA president. All this started with the FIFA Forward Enterprise project with Tribe Eternal and Joshua Kushner, who is the brother to the son-in-law of Donald Trump, the most powerful man in the world and president of the United States of America. So many controversies, and UEFA, CONCACAF, and others have had enough. The Jordan Football Association also came out to say a lot of anomalies have been experienced in the last 1 or 2 years under Infantino, and they will not support his quest to continue as FIFA president for a fourth term. All right, so many issues, politics at its highest and at its dirtiest going on at FIFA at the moment. Gianni Infantino is a wanted man. He's a man in troubled waters. Hopefully he can swim through without drowning. So many issues with, well, CAF, as expected, threw their weight behind Infantino. They have said unquestionably they are behind his fourth term bid, and they supported the joint updates that arose from the crisis talks held in Rabat between members of the among members of the FIFA hierarchy. So good stuff for Infantino. He has some people supporting him and a lot of people withdrawing their support for him. I'm sure that he caused that himself after throwing forward the FIFA Forward Enterprise project without consulting with member nations first. As you make your bed, so you will lie on it. All right, so we said before that Fabrizio Romano came under fire after a lot of people criticized him for the way he handled the Vinicius transfer speculation. It was largely speculated that he was going to Arsenal. Unfortunately, that wasn't or isn't to be, as he extended his contract at Real Madrid for 6 more years. So Madrid will be having 6 more years of Vinicius Jr. It was a no-brainer for me because Jose Mourinho would definitely want his strongest players at Real. I'm sure the question was asked because of what happened between Benfica and Real Madrid, where Jose was in stout defense and defense of Benfica in that match when there were apparent racist remarks from one of the Benfica players to Vinicius Jr. So I'm sure those things thought to rear their ugly heads, but that has since been buried because big grown men bury the hatchet. Grown member. Barcelona are now in official club-to-club talks with Manchester City and are very confident to get Rodri deal done. Initial indications from Barcelona open to pay fee slightly over 45 million euros. Man City in direct talks indicating higher price. Rodri wants Barca, so it's something that we expected in these situations. When, in light of what has happened, the circumstances, this turnaround was not a surprise. Well, for me, I don't know whether it was for other people. Pep Chavaria on his way to England today for medical tests and contract signing at Chelsea. 90 million euros plus 2 million euros deal finalized last night as revealed. So Chelsea very busy as usual, signing players signing player after player. Atletico Madrid prepare new official bid for Christian Romero, who is called Kuti by close friends and associates, as clear front runners in race for the defender. Imagine that partnership. Well, between Christian Romero and Cholo Simeone. Christian Romero will definitely be his assistant coach on the field of play because they both believe in a certain style. All right, talks are taking place on both club and player side as Atletico are ahead. Negotiations have continued in that regard. Tottenham reached verbal agreement on new deal with Mickey van de Ven, very good player, of course. Same process as Pedro Porro, key players for De Zerbi and the club, never been for sale this summer. All right, so Mickey van de Ven is looking to renew his contract at Tottenham. Definitely a good player and their number one defender now that Cuti Romero intends to leave. Christensen Somerville has rehearsed for the first time after signing with Al Hilal. He's set to join the training camp and we wish him good luck. And that Bruno Guimaraes has signed his contract as a new Arsenal player. He did that in the early hours of this morning, according to reports. So the official announcement is expected anytime from now. Malo Gusto's situation remains the same since June. Exit still possible. Chelsea value Malo at £75 million. Why? I don't know. Manchester City like him but won't pay that exorbitant amount for Malo Gusto. He did well when he featured at the World Cup for France under erstwhile coach Didier Deschamps. All right, so Napoli have made contact with Gabriel Jesus camp over positive or over possible move and positive discussion so far. Let us see if Gabriel Jesus will want to leave Arsenal for Napoli because Romelu Lukaku has been frozen out of the Napoli squad for the Partenope under Massimiliano Allegri. It seems that Lukaku is surplus to requirements there and hopefully he will find a new club as quickly as possible. Highest goal scorer in Belgium history and second highest European goal scorer of all time behind the great Cristiano Ronaldo. All right, so Chelsea have agreed a deal, like we said before, to sign Pep Chavaria from Rayo Vallecano, and Xabi Alonso was all over that deal and gave the go ahead. Club Brugge are closing in on a deal to sign Jan Vigili from Mallorca. Mallorca, we remember, trounced PSG and a friendly. It was surprising, even though PSG didn't have their heavy hitters, but wow. Mallorca defeated PSG as well as Real Betis under Manuel Pellegrini, decimating Arsenal in that fashion. Only Pero Incapie's consolation goal. There was a goal that maybe Masadia Ego a bit. The Ecuadorian scored a good header, a free header, but that Betis dominated that encounter, and maybe it will give some concerns to Mikel Arteta. It remains to be seen. It was a warm-up. It was a warm-up game, really. But banter already started everywhere on social media. Chelsea, if they lose, they've lost about 2 or 3 preseason games. Other clubs fans come and don't spare them in their banter, and this is what happens. Manchester United lost that game to Wrexham, and we did not hear the last of it. All right, so Atletico Madrid are still very interested in adding so many players. Tolu Arokodare, our man, scored in his first Ajax appearance. Ajax, of course, have been busy. They've signed Julian Brandt from Borussia Dortmund and Marc-Andre ter Stegen on loan from Barcelona. He's the new #1 goalkeeper at Ajax. So Ajax will definitely strive to win the Dutch Eredivisie after an underwhelming season the last time. All right. Caleb Yerenki has passed his medical at Coventry City, joining from FC North 30 million euros package confirmed. That's the record deal or the record sale for the Danish club. Leeds United confirmed they have signed James Trafford on a 45 million package deal. 45 million pounds. That is a record buy for Leeds United. City will receive 20% of any future profit and maintain matching rights. Wow, record signing for Leeds, like I said before. All right, so Vinicius Jr. has said 8 years at the Bernabeu, very short, 6 more years and forever. Real. Well, if you really loved Real, I don't think the contract talks would have continued for 18 months. But yeah, it is what it is for Vinicius Jr. Congratulations to him. All right, so Franco Mastantuono has arrived on a loan deal from Real at Fiorentina, and the fans went gaga upon his arrival, like a star that he probably will be in future. All right, so that's for that. Manchester United confirmed and agreed to sign 18-year-old midfielder Christian Orozco. He is joining from Colombian side Fortaleza, and it was, in fact, officially announced by Manchester United. Christian Orozco, in fact, that deal was agreed last season. It is only the confirmation and official announcement that happened yesterday. Manes Eclerouche has signed as a new Paris Saint-Germain player on a 50 million euros deal from Monaco. Eclerouche has been well courted by PSG for a long time, and now they have their man. Did very well for Monaco last season on the basis of his individual performances. Bayer Leverkusen have reached an agreement on a deal to sign Facundo Medina, 23 million euros plus 2 million euros fee. Has been reported. The defender is expected to sign as soon as all documents are approved. So that's for Bayer Leverkusen. We remember that Alejandro Grimaldo signed for Atletico Madrid. So Bayer Leverkusen looking for reinforcements to cover or to plug that gap. All right. So that's for transfers. So many more will be announced in due course. We talked about the Premier League starting as soon as possible on the 21st of August. A lot of information in that regard, pieces of information in that regard. That's why people are doing everything they can to get the best players in for preparedness, adequate preparedness for the new season. All right, so some stats. I love stats. I've said it before. I really love stats. So let's talk about stats. The 3 players to have attempted the most dribbles so far at the 2026 CAF Women's AFCON all play for Cote d'Ivoire. All of them play for Cote d'Ivoire, right? Rosamond Kouassi, 26, and Sira Kudrago, 26, and Rebecca Elo, 20. All right, so all 3 players from Ivory Coast are the 3 players to have attempted the most dribbles. So Ivory Coast definitely a team to be scared of. Nigeria's Rasheedat Ajibade, who is our skipper, our captain, was the only player to take 10 plus shots and create 10 plus chances in the group stage of the 2026 WAFCON, the Women African Nations Cup. All right, so these stats are preparing your mind for the quarterfinals that commence tomorrow. WAFCON has reached the knockout stages, and it is time to separate the girls from the women. So let's see how that goes for all involved as we continue to check news concerning our favorite stars: football, basketball, tennis, Formula One. Right, so Chicharito has revealed the one sentence Paul Scholes and Cristiano Ronaldo told him before every Manchester United game. But Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't there when he was at Manchester United. So Paul Scholes, after one training session, he pulled me aside and said, whenever you see my head come up, just make your run. All right, so he told me not to overthink it because the pass would always find me. Well, Paul Scholes is nicknamed Sat-Nav for a specific reason. He most likely will find the next man when he passes the round ladder, right? So Chicharito was very well accepted at Manchester United, did quite well performance-wise, was incredible when he gave his all at Manchester United, went on loan to Real Madrid, and also did very well. Played alongside Cristiano, Karim, and co. So it was interesting for the man. So many people have come out to say Vinicius Junior used Arsenal to negotiate a better contract with Real Madrid. It is not the first time it is happening, so you do not have to hold anything against him. So that's football for you. You win some and you lose some. Venus Williams has come out to say that it is regrettable that herself and Serena Williams couldn't play the doubles, more anticipated doubles pairing at Wimbledon. She is disappointed that, and she knows that the fans were even more disappointed that they couldn't play at Wimbledon, but she hopes that they can play at the US Open. We haven't heard anything concrete from the Serena camp, but I believe that she is doing everything possible to ensure that a repeat of Wimbledon is not what to expect at the US Open. So while preparing for the US Open, Carlos Alcaraz has withdrawn from Cincinnati and wants to rest the wrist more. Hopefully he will feature at the US Open. I'm sure after all that training and trying to stretch the wrist, he experienced maybe some pain. I do not know, only is assuming speculation, but it is confirmed that Carlos Alcaraz, 7-time Grand Slam champion, Olympic silver medalist, done pretty much everything at 22 years old. We do not know what's going on, but he has withdrawn from Cincinnati and he doesn't want that wrist issue to go through the same experience that Juan Martin Del Potro had. Juan Martin Del Potro, the Tower of Candil, definitely had problems with his wrist that curtailed his tennis career. We remember he won the 2009 US Open in esteemed fashion, crushing Rafael Nadal in the semi-finals and getting past Roger Federer in 5 sets at Flushing Meadows for his maiden and sole Grand Slam title till date. Had some flashes as well, did very well other times, but his wrist definitely impeded his progress. So Carlos Alcaraz will definitely be looking at that issue with Juan Martin Del Potro and say, no, I do not want that for myself. So that's what is currently happening to the Spanish 7-time Grand Slam champion. As for Yannick Sinner, the 5-time Grand Slam champion and world #1, he's preparing in earnest for Cincinnati as soon as Montreal and Toronto are concluded. We are looking at everyone going to Cincinnati to definitely play in the Western and Southern Open. So let us see how that pans out for Yannick. Yannick, we know, has won all previous 5 Masters 1000s, and we thought he was going to aim for a clean sweep, but he decided to withdraw from this National Bank Open, the Rogers Cup in Montreal, and hopefully he will look at his options and his chances of winning at Cincinnati. Alexander Zverev lost to Talon Grigspor and said that was probably the worst he has played this season. Himself and Yannick are the most consistent players this season. I think when he speaks like that, so bullish in his assertion, he eventually loses. But he still has done very, very well this season. Hopefully his racket does more talking than his mouth going forward. Really good for him. But for the Filipino Alex Ayala, she's doing very well. She hopes to continue in that fashion in subsequent tournaments. We made history as the first Filipino to win an ATP, a WTA tournament. I beg your pardon, ATP is for men. The Women's Tennis Association tournament, where she defeated Jessica Pegula from a set down, battling the American in the deciding set. So that's for tennis. So many other things are happening in tennis that we will give you updates on. Now we've talked about Yannick. Now Arina Sabalenka is looking to get some form back in preparedness for the US Open. She has had the last 3 months haven't been to, as according to plan haven't gone according to plan, and based on the standards she has set for herself, she has definitely been below par in the last 2 or 3 months. So Arena will want to raise the game and up the ante, because the likes of Elena Rybakina and Coco Gauff are not going to give her any opportunity to slack at all. A slacker is a lacquer, as they say. So if she makes any mistake, it will be capitalized on by her opponents and competitors, contenders for the #1 slot. Arena has been there for a long time. She has made that #1 position her own. But we remember when Roger Federer was world #1 for almost 5 years. Then Rafael Nadal became world #1 after an incredible 2008 season where he was crowned Wimbledon champion for the first time, went on a 32-match win streak, won the Olympics, won Queens, won the French Open, won everything on offer. And he became world #1, and that broke the Roger Federer dominance. That ended it for some time. Roger later became world #1 a couple of times, but that Rafael Nadal 2008 season, which started at the Australian Open, was crushed by Willy Tsonga in the semi-finals, rebounded in the French Open, won it, won Wimbledon, and went on to do quite well. Lost in the semi-finals of the US Open to Andy Murray in that same season, but did very well. 2008 was definitely a historic season for Rafa. That's where he became world #1 for the first time. And since then, it has been good for tennis. Novak is the Grand Slam leader for men, 24 Grand Slam titles, and deservedly so. Let's go to some other news, maybe basketball. Let's tell you some things as they prepare for the new season, some NBA news for your viewing and listening pleasure. For those of us who like basketball, definitely we have some basketball fans among us who listen and view this show, Sports Grandeur. So let's tell you some things basketball related. We remember that LeBron James has signed for Philadelphia 76ers, joining Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, VJ Edgecombe, as well as Joel Embiid. So they are looking for maybe they can stake a claim for the next championship. Right now it is with the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson, Drew, and OG Anunoby, our Nigerian brother OG Anunoby. These guys won the last NBA championship, defeating Vicky Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs in that pulsating finals, which ended 4-2 in favor of the Knicks. All right, so yeah. So, like we said, some NBA news. We've already started with LeBron James going to the Philadelphia 76ers in what was an astonishing move for LeBron. He said he was tired of the Lakers. Won one ring there, has won 4 rings, has won at Cleveland, has won at Miami, and has won at Los Angeles. So let's see, in Los Angeles. So let's see how that goes. All right. So, LeBron and Jalen to Philly. Jaylen Brown left the Celtics and went to Philly. Dylan Brooks has gone to the Spurs as well. Lucrative offer, $73 million extension in Phoenix. Draymond and Najee's extensions. Draymond Green has extended his stay at the Golden State Warriors because Steve Kerr is still there, Chief Curry is still there, and Najee Marshall has also signed an extension with the Mavericks. For the FIBA Women's World Cup, Team USA announced a star-studded roster featuring Kathleen Clark, Angel Reese, and AJ Wilson, making major international debuts. 3 of the best female basketball players in the world will definitely be making their international or getting their international nods in the next FIFA or FIBA Women's World Cup, Federation of International Basketball Association. All right, so the 10th Aminu Good Works Foundation Football combined kicks off in Ibadan today, from today until Sunday, before moving to Abuja on the 13th of August to the 16th of August. So that's for basketball. Formula One, we'll be giving you Formula One news as well. Let's touch on everything. Let's give you Formula One news as well. All right, so well, Lewis Hamilton, we know, is trailing Kimi Antonelli, the 19-year-old Formula One driver who has stunned pretty much everyone this season. We remember Formula One started making sense, well, for a lot of people when Sebastian Vettel won 4 straight. And they said, well, this is another Michael Schumacher. Then came Lewis Hamilton. At some point, it was Fernando Alonso, Felipe Massa, even though he never won the Drivers' Championship. But these are guys who have definitely been there and challenged for the top positions. All right, so let's see some, let's have some F1 news for you. McLaren rolled back to the front of the field in the last race before the summer break and have already begun teasing some more upgrade packages before the end of the season. All right, so that's good news because Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari have been put on red alert as F1 title rivals have planned new upgrades. That will not go down well with Lewis. Lewis wants to always be the best, right? So Max Verstappen, who has been leading everyone else in the last 3 or 4 seasons, has heaped praise on his F1 rival and said never a doubt. Kimi Antonelli has enjoyed a very successful start to the new F1 season, but his form has not surprised in any way Max Verstappen. All right, Max Verstappen has hailed the performance of Kimi Antonelli this year, following rapid ascension to the forefront of the F1 pecking order. The 19-year-old Mercedes driver has bagged 6 wins so far this season and holds a 50-point lead, mammoth, over Lewis Hamilton at the head of the Drivers' Championship. His current position follows a 2025 rookie season that included 4 DNFs and a difficult mid-season run. So rising from adversity is not an issue for the 19-year-old. Age is only but a number. Having quickly been thrust into the F1 world, Verstappen stated he first noticed the Italians' early performances in senior karting categories. Well, all right, so it has been good for Antonelli. Antonelli's position at the head of the standings has been a surprise for many. Like I said before, nobody expected that this meteoric rise so fast. He's done very, very well for himself. A lot of people have been surprised at how well he has done. He's won 6 races and done quite well for himself. So he has put pretty much everyone on red alert, saying, how did he do it? So Max Verstappen has been praising him, and that is what we expect from rivals. It has to be a healthy competition, no animosity whatsoever. Let everyone is right. That's how it is going for them. So let's give you some Premier League news, not necessarily transfer news, but preparedness for the new season, the English Premier League. Let's give you some good news from the Premier League today. Well, Lewis Kelly is pushing to start in midfield for Arsenal since Calafiori, Urian Timber, and the likes have pretty much locked the right and left back positions. All right, so Lewis Kelly is pushing to start in midfield. What does that say of the likes of Mahrez, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard? Martin Odegaard is the playmaker in that team alongside Eberechi Eze. So let's see what will happen in that regard. If Lewis Kelly can stake a claim in midfield, then it will definitely be an added, an added problem or an additional headache for Mikel Arteta. All right. So Chelsea currently have a 41-man squad. They've been signing and signing, without necessarily letting as many go. Marc Cucurella, we know, has gone. Trevor Chalobah has also gone to Como, but there are still many players. Chelsea are in familiar position of having a large number of players on their books, with 41 senior players and only 25 days remaining in the transfer window to resolve the situation. All right, so no European football, definitely. That's a question mark. Javi Alonso has to reduce the squad, definitely. Some players are available for sale, others on loan. Um, you need 25 senior players and you have to offload 16 right now. The Blues have had players stranded in bomb squad in the past, like Raheem Sterling and Axel Disasi last season. That practice has since been outlawed by FIFA, increasing the importance of drastically reducing the squad. If Chelsea had qualified for Europe, they would have been at risk of being unable to register certain players. Of course, a lot of players have been disappointed in the past, have been overlooked during registration for European competition. So it is not a new thing. The Blues are accustomed to this level of player trading and are boosted by the fact that they've largely rebuilt since Alonso signed the dotted lines as the manager of the club. They have signed the likes of Morgan Rogers, Marco Palestra, Danny Welbeck, Jordan Henderson, and Maxime Lacroix, with the fullback Pep Chavaria close to joining from Rayo Vallecano. We said that before. Pep Chavaria is very close to becoming a Chelsea player. The size of the squad is an issue that needs addressing, though. On Wednesday, they had 21 substitutes for their 1-0 defeat by Juventus in Hong Kong. Just 5 were academy players. All right, so 4 Chelsea, but it remains a remarkable number given both Cole Palmer and Levi Colwill are absent at the moment because they had knocks sustained in the previous friendly, and striker Emmanuel Emega is continuing his rehabilitation from a hamstring injury at the training ground. All right, so for Chelsea, it's a big problem, massive problem for Javi Alonso. Who does he ship out? All right, so there are also 5 players not even in training with the first team at the moment. Benoit Badiashile, Axel Disasi, McGill, David Dutro Fofana, and Caleb Wiley. They are all available either for permanent transfers or loan moves. 7 players remain on holiday until after next week, having featured in the later stages of the World Cup. Enzo Fernandez, Rhys James, Morgan Rogers, Jordan Henderson, Maxence Lacroix, Valentin Bako, and Marlo Gusto. So that's the headache that Javi Alonso currently has at the moment. Trevor Chalobah, like we said before, is very close to joining Como for 31 million pounds. What did I say before? So I got the number wrong before. So 31 million pounds is the transfer fee, expected transfer fee for Trevor Chalobah, including add-ons. While goalkeeper Philip Jorgensen is joining sister club RC Strasbourg on loan. So that's the Chelsea problem at the moment. 41 players in their squad. They are no strangers to these problems, really. So how do they do it? Remember Sound of Music? The question was, how do you solve a problem like Maria? Right now, it is, how does Xabi Alonso solve the problem of having 41 players in the ranks at Chelsea? Something's got to give. All right. Liverpool legend Ian Rush has urged Liverpool to give Iraola time to succeed. Rush is Liverpool's all-time highest goal scorer. The 44-year-old Andoni Iraola was named as an slot successor in June and will oversee the first competitive match in charge of the club in the Premier League on the 23rd of August. That's in 2 weeks. On Sunday, 23rd August, the club record goal scorer has said that the former Bournemouth boss must target winning the trophy in his debut season on Merseyside, but stressed that the Spaniard should be given the opportunity to fully implement his methods. He's saying one thing, and also, in fact, he's saying 2 things in the same breath. Try to win at least 1 trophy in your debut season, but in the event that you don't win, nobody should question your managerial credentials. You should still be given more time to prove your method. All right. So, well, It is no secret that when you manage the big clubs, Liverpool, Manchester United, Real, Arsenal, Atletico, Barcelona, AC Milan, Juve, Inter, PSG, Olympic must say you are under a lot of pressure from the world girl. All right. So we remember we have been talking about Matthias Jaisler. Matthias Jaisler has officially been unveiled as the new manager of Newcastle United. The 38-year-old is replacing Eddie Howe, who has been there for so many years, pretty much 7 years. So when he left Bournemouth, so all right. So Matthias Jaisler delivered success in Saudi Arabia and Austria with Al Ahly and Red Bull Salzburg. But this will be the first time he has sampled life in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. I'm sure he relishes the challenge. If he doesn't, he wouldn't have agreed to become the manager of Newcastle. He becomes the Premier League's second youngest current head coach at 38, and his first competitive game is against Liverpool on the 23rd of August. This the early bat. You do not have more difficult games than playing against Liverpool in your first competitive game of the season. All right. So thank you very, very much for having us today on Sports Grandeur on OJ 106.3 FM Benin. My name is Ohis Eboreme, and we'll be seeing you next week. Enjoy your weekend and stay out of trouble. Remember, don't do everything possible to please the world. The world will move on with or without you. Cheers.